Okay, we're going to read Lulu and the Brontosaurus. We're going to read chapters 9 and 10 today. So, if you remember from the last chapter, she had fallen asleep and then the Brontosaurus came. Chapter 9. Lulu closed, then opened, then closed, then opened her eyes again, and she decided that she wasn't dreaming after all. She quickly climbed out of her sleeping bag and announced to the Brontosaurus, "It's my birthday today, and you, just in time, I found you." "No, I found you," the Brontosaurus told Lulu, "and I'd like to wish you a very happy birthday." "Oh, it will be happy," Lulu said to the Brontosaurus, "because you," she patted his ankle, because his ankle was as high as she could reach, "you are the pet I'm getting for my birthday." And there is the Brontosaurus looking down at Lulu. The Brontosaurus bent his head down, his neck so his face was close to Lulu's. He looked at her back to front and head to toe, sniffing her carefully with his Brontosaurus nose and making a rumbling noise. No one knows how dinosaurs sound, but in my story they rumble, and slowly nodding his pinhead head. "A pet," he said to Lulu after he nodded for a while, "is a very good thing." "A very, very good thing," Lulu replied. She opened her suitcase up and went digging around inside and pulled out a white leather collar, which she fastened around the Brontosaurus's neck. "Now I'll just attach this leash." She dug some more and found a long leash in her suitcase, "and take you home with me." Lulu attached the leash and the collar, feeling so pleased with herself that she sang a whole new song. I got it, I got what I wanted to get. A Brontosaurus for a pet. I got it, I got what I wanted to get. A Brontosaurus for a pet. He doesn't look too happy to me. She would have kept feeling pleased with herself, except for now the Brontosaurus was shaking his head, and now in his rumbling voice he was saying, "No." He was saying no and shaking his head till the collar and leash flew off. "No," he said, "I do not wish to be your pet." Lulu hated hearing no. She really hated hearing no. So she screeched till all the birds fled from the trees, and then she threw herself down on the forest floor. Then she kicked her heels and waved her arms. The Brontosaurus waited patiently without saying one more word until she stopped and with the screeching and the kicking and the waving. "Finished now, Lulu?" he quite politely asked. "Maybe I am," Lulu said, "and maybe I'm not. It all depends." And here she shook a finger right in the Brontosaurus's face. This girl was a pain, but she wasn't a scaredy cat. "It all depends on whether you stop saying no and start saying yes to being my pet." The Brontosaurus shook his head no some more. Lulu thought about screeching and so forth some more, but instead she said in a very snippy voice, "Now listen here. You were the one who said to me just a minute ago that, and I quote, 'a pet is a very good thing.'" "That's what I said," the Brontosaurus admitted. "So what," Lulu asked, "is your problem, Mr. B?" "My problem," he answered, "just a misunderstanding. Because when I said that a pet is a very good thing, I didn't mean I wanted to be your pet. I meant that you'd be a very good pet for me." Chapter 10. Lulu's eyes were two round O's of amazement. She tried to speak, but at first no words came out. Then finally she was able to say in a squeaky, amazed kind of voice, "I don't think I heard what I think I just heard, Mr. B." "You did indeed," the Brontosaurus replied. "Well, if I did," Lulu's voice was back to being its bossy old self again. "Well, if I did, I've got some news for you. A person has a pet. An animal is a pet. A person can't ever be an animal's pet, ever." "And I have some news for you," the Brontosaurus said to Lulu, except he spoke more politely than Lulu had done. "You're about to be the first person ever to be an animal's pet. Congratulations, and once again, happy birthday." He reached out a hand, or whatever you want to call it, and gently scooped Lulu off the forest floor. Then he plunked her gently down where his back met his neck. "Hold on, little pet," he said to Lulu. I'll pull off some leaves from the tops of the trees for your breakfast, and then I'm taking you home to live with me." "No," yelled Lulu. "No, no, no. A billion zillion times no." "Yes, yes, yes," the Brontosaurus replied. "I'll feed you and pat you and play with you and treat you very nicely. And all I expect from you is to sit and roll over and fetch a ball and do cute tricks." What did he think she was? Some kind of girl dog? I really don't know. I can't read a dinosaur's mind. Lulu thought about screeching and throwing herself on the forest floor, except the forest floor was a long way down. She thought about squeezing the dinosaur dead, except that she needed both hands to hang onto his neck. She thought about swinging and swinging her suitcase and bonking him on the head, except she left her suitcase under a tree. And she couldn't stomp on his foot because his feet were far too far from his back where he'd plunked her. Then Lulu started to think about the only thing farther from where the Brontosaurus had plunked her was her home, where her mom and her dad were waiting, her very own home where no one, not even when she was being a pain, which was most of the time, had ever expected her to sit and roll over and fetch and do cute tricks. "I want to go home to my house," Lulu told the Brontosaurus, and then added in a lot less bossier voice, "Please let me go back to my house, Mr. B." This was maybe the very first time in Lulu's entire life that she, without being told, had used the P word. And yet the Brontosaurus shook his head once more. "Once you get used to it," he said kindly to Lulu, "I believe you will truly like being a pet." Lulu imagined being a pet in the house of the Brontosaurus and never seeing her mom or her dad again. She imagined eating leaves and doing cute tricks. And she said to herself that if only she could turn today into yesterday, she wouldn't go looking for dinosaurs in the forest. And she wouldn't say "foo on you" to her mom and her dad. She was feeling especially sorry that she had ever said "foo on you" to her mom and her dad. What do you think will happen next?